The Rule of 10. How one straightforward principle could help you retire nearly a decade earlier than most people around you. Understanding the youthful years of retirement before they disappear forever. There is a powerful stage of life that countless people waste completely without ever recognizing its value. It is not your 20s when you are focused on building a profession. It is not your 30s when you are busy raising a family. It is actually something much more valuable. The youthful chapter of your retirement years. This is that rare period, usually between your mid-50s and early 60s, when you still possess the energy, health, and independence to finally enjoy everything you delayed during your working years. Yet something both incredible and heartbreaking happens to millions of people during this phase. They drift through life on autopilot. They continue going to work every day even though they already have enough money to retire comfortably. They keep postponing retirement again and again and again. Then suddenly they wake up in their mid-60s, finally prepared to retire, only to realize their health has already started declining. The adventures they dreamed about are no longer physically realistic. The goals they promised themselves now feel overwhelming. The carefree retirement they imagined gets squeezed into whatever years remain before major health problems begin. Your future does not need to unfold this way. The uncomfortable reality about retirement and declining health. Let us discuss several statistics that should concern anyone planning their retirement timeline. The World Health Organization performs extensive studies on something called HALE, Healthy Average Life Expectancy. This differs from normal life expectancy. HALE specifically measures how many years of healthy, fully functional living the average person is likely to experience. For Americans at birth, the HALE figure is only 66.1 years. Pause for a moment and think about what that truly means. It does not mean the average American dies at age 66. It means the average American experiences a major health issue, such as cancer, a heart attack, a stroke, or another serious chronic illness around age 66 or 67. That is approximately 1 year after the traditional retirement age of 65. In other words, if your plan is to retire at 65 and spend the next 20 or 30 years enjoying an active lifestyle, statistics suggest you may only get about 1 truly healthy year before significant health challenges begin. This is not just some strange statistical fluke. It is the difficult truth about aging and health in modern America. Of course, some individuals remain healthy deep into their 70s or 80s. Some people stay active even longer. But nobody can predict ahead of time whether they will be one of those fortunate exceptions. You cannot know whether you have 5 healthy years left or 20. And that uncertainty is exactly why retirement timing deserves careful strategic planning. The importance of family history and understanding your personal risk factors. Broad population statistics matter, but your personal family medical history matters even more. If your parents or grandparents experience serious health problems early in life, if major illnesses appeared in their 50s or 60s, you need to factor that into your retirement planning. Many families carry strong genetic tendencies towards certain conditions. Heart disease runs heavily in some bloodlines. Certain cancers appear repeatedly across generations in others. Diabetes, Alzheimer's disease, and other serious illnesses often follow family patterns as well. If your family history includes these conditions, you cannot safely assume you will enjoy the average healthy lifespan. When personal medical risks are combined with population statistics, the message becomes even more urgent. If you have enough financial resources to retire in your 50s, and your family history points toward elevated health risks, waiting until your 60s could cost you years of healthy retirement that you might otherwise have fully enjoyed. The Rule of 10, a practical framework for retirement timing. This is where the Rule of 10 becomes life-changing. The concept is simple but incredibly powerful. You must determine how many healthy and active retirement years you realistically expect to have. Then you must organize your financial life so you actually experience those years while you are still healthy enough to enjoy them completely. The number 10 is not magical, although it serves as a useful benchmark. 10 healthy retirement years, whether from ages 55 to 65 or 60 to 70, represents a meaningful chapter of life. It is enough time for real travel, serious hobbies, deep family experiences, and fulfilling long-postponed dreams. It is also realistic for many people, even those with elevated health risks. But here is the critical insight. Those 10 years do not automatically appear simply because you eventually retire. You only get them if you retire strategically early enough to experience them while your health still allows it. Why many financial advisors misunderstand retirement timing. After decades of watching people make retirement decisions, one reality becomes obvious. Most retirement planning focuses almost entirely on money. Do you have enough saved? Will your investments support your lifestyle? What withdrawal rate is considered safe? What do the Monte Carlo simulations say about your odds of success? Those questions matter, but they are not the most important ones. The most important question should be this: how can you structure your finances so you actually enjoy the healthiest and most active years of your retirement? This disconnect between traditional financial planning and what truly matters creates a dangerous bias toward working longer than necessary. Financial advisors often use extremely conservative assumptions. They want to maximize the odds that you never run out of money. They want plans capable of surviving even the worst market conditions imaginable. Their intentions are good, but the result is harmful. It pushes many people into working years longer than necessary, even when their health situation suggests they should retire sooner. The $1 million myth and other retirement misconceptions. Before discussing how to apply the rule of 10, we need to confront several retirement myths that keep people working unnecessarily long. Myth number 1: you must have $1 million before retiring. This may be the most damaging retirement myth in existence. You have probably heard it repeatedly, and maybe even accepted it yourself. "I need $1 million before I can retire" has become a cultural slogan. But here is reality. Only around 10 to 15% of Americans reach $1 million by retirement age. If $1 million were truly required, then 90% of Americans would never retire at all. They would simply work until death because reaching that number would be impossible for most people. Obviously, that is not what happens. Millions of Americans retire successfully with far less. Your retirement needs depend on your lifestyle, where you live, your family obligations, and your health situation, not some arbitrary financial milestone. The real question is not whether you have $1 million. The real question is whether your combined income sources, Social Security, pensions, investments, or part-time work can cover your actual expenses with reasonable flexibility. Those are completely different questions that produce very different answers. Myth number 2: the 4% rule is absolute truth. The famous 4% rule has become almost sacred in retirement circles. It originated from research in the 1990s by William Bengen, an aerospace engineer educated at MIT. His research concluded that withdrawing 4% of a portfolio during the first year of retirement and adjusting for inflation afterward produced a 99.999% chance of never exhausting your money over 30 years. It was impressive research and extremely valuable work. But here is what people misunderstand. A 99.99% success rate is extraordinarily conservative. It is the retirement equivalent of bringing every possible emergency supply on a simple weekend hiking trip. If you are hiking in an area with phone service and nearby assistance, carrying excessive backup gear makes you massively overprepared. You could safely travel much lighter. Retirement works similarly. If the 4% rule gives you nearly absolute certainty, then perhaps a 5% withdrawal rate still gives you a 95% success rate. Would that be acceptable? Maybe yes, maybe no. That depends on your personal values and risk tolerance. The important point is that the 4% rule is one framework, not an unbreakable law. Understanding what probability of success truly means. This leads directly into another major misunderstanding in retirement planning: the meaning of probability of success. When financial planners run Monte Carlo simulations using thousands of possible market conditions and economic outcomes, they generate percentages such as 80% or 95% probability of success. These numbers have become almost synonymous with safety, but most people misunderstand what they actually represent. What they do not mean is that you have a 95% chance of comfort and a 5% chance of total disaster. Real life is not that extreme. What those numbers actually mean is that under 95% of simulated conditions, you would never need to change your retirement plan at all. In the remaining scenarios, you might need to make adjustments. Those adjustments could include postponing a vacation, reducing discretionary spending temporarily, or taking part-time work during difficult market years. They are usually manageable changes, not catastrophic collapse. Imagine an airplane approaching a runway during landing. The pilot is constantly making small corrections. If the plane drops too low, the pilot adjusts upward. If it rises too high, the pilot adjusts downward. The plane is always being fine-tuned. Retirement works the same way. An 80% success rate does not mean perfection versus ruin. It means life will probably go smoothly, but there is a possibility you may need small adjustments along the way. The real cost of excessive caution in retirement planning. Here is the insight that changes everything. There is a 100% certainty that you will sacrifice healthy retirement years in exchange for pushing your probability of success from 80% to 95% or from 95% to 98%. Imagine you could retire at 58 with an 80% success probability, or continue working until 62 to achieve 95%. What is the actual cost of those extra odds? The cost is 4 years of your healthiest retirement years. 4 years of experiences you may never reclaim. 4 years of spending time with grandchildren while you still have energy. 4 years of hobbies, travel, and freedom lost forever because work obligations continued. Is reducing your portfolio risk from 5% to nearly zero worth sacrificing that time? Only you can answer that question. But it is the question people should ask, and most retirement planning completely ignores it. Applying the rule of 10 to your own life. So how do you actually use the rule of 10? Step 1. Honestly evaluate your health outlook. Have direct conversations with your doctors. Do not ask them to predict your lifespan. Instead, ask about your risk factors based on family history, current health, genetics, and medical conditions. If your parents experience serious illnesses in their 60s, take it seriously. If you already face health challenges, understand your likely future realistically. This is not pessimism. It is strategic planning based on facts. Step 2. Define your ideal healthy retirement window. Once you understand your risks, choose the years you want to protect. For some people, it is ages 55 through 65. For others, it may be 60 through 70. The important thing is intentionally protecting those years. Those years represent the chapter when you still want energy, health, and freedom. Every financial decision should support preserving that period. Step 3. Work backward to determine your target retirement age. Once you know the healthy years you want, the retirement age becomes clear. If you want 10 healthy years beginning at 58, then you need to retire at 58. That age becomes your guiding target. Everything else, saving, investing, and spending decisions, should support reaching it. Step 4. Evaluate whether your finances support that goal. Only now do you analyze the money side. Can you realistically retire at 58? If yes, excellent. If not, you still have options. You can save more aggressively, reduce lifestyle costs, plan part-time work, or slightly adjust your target retirement age. The key is making intentional trade-offs instead of blindly following conventional retirement timing, building flexibility instead of chasing perfect certainty. Once you identify your retirement age and confirm the numbers work, your planning focus changes. Instead of asking how to maximize certainty, you ask how to maximize flexibility. This leads to very different strategies. You may create multiple retirement income streams through Social Security, pensions, rental properties, consulting, or part-time work. Multiple income sources create resilience because you are not relying entirely on investments. You may build larger cash reserves so you avoid selling investments during bad markets. You may identify optional expenses you could temporarily reduce if necessary. Rather than assuming retirement will always unfold perfectly, you build flexibility into your plan from the beginning. These strategies may not dramatically improve Monte Carlo percentages, but they improve the strength and adaptability of your actual retirement life. The psychological side of retiring earlier. There is also an emotional dimension to early retirement that financial analysis misses entirely. Retiring at 58 instead of 62 is not just about 4 years. It is the difference between entering retirement with excitement and energy versus entering retirement exhausted after years of extended work. It is the difference between pursuing dreams at full capability versus diminished energy. There is a social component too. Most people follow traditional retirement paths. Very few retire during their late 50s. Retiring earlier allows you to enjoy experiences while you still possess the energy and health to fully appreciate them, confronting the fears that stop people from retiring early. Despite all this logic, many people remain terrified of retiring early. Usually, the fears fall into several categories. Fear of running out of money. This is the most common fear. Even financially prepared people often feel insecure. Sometimes emotional reassurance matters as much as mathematical proof. Fear of losing identity. Many people strongly connect their identity to their careers. Retirement can feel like losing purpose. Solving this requires building meaningful activities and relationships before retirement begins. Fear of boredom. Many worry retirement will feel empty. In reality, retirees with adequate resources usually report the opposite problem. They often say there is never enough time for everything they want to do. Fear of judgment. Some worry society will view early retirement negatively. That fear still exists, although it is becoming less common as early retirement grows more visible. The ultimate retirement decision. After analyzing your finances, health, and fears, you face one central choice. Do you prioritize maximum financial certainty even if it costs you healthy retirement years? Or do you prioritize experiencing the youthful chapter of retirement while accepting slightly greater financial uncertainty? There is no universal answer. Someone with exceptional health, a low-stress career, and genuine enjoyment of work may reasonably choose to continue working longer. But many people, perhaps most, would retire earlier if they truly believed they had enough resources. They would rather accept some future adjustments than lose healthy years forever. The rule of 10 exists to help you make that decision intentionally instead of drifting into conventional retirement ages simply because society expects it. Moving forward with intentional retirement planning. The first step is having an honest conversation with yourself about what kind of retirement you truly want. Not what society expects. Not what others tell you retirement should look like. What would genuinely make you fulfilled and happy? If you want 10 healthy and active retirement years, and most people do, then you need to plan for them intentionally. Work backward from the healthy years you want. Determine your ideal retirement age. Evaluate whether your financial situation supports it. Then make purposeful decisions to protect that window. The alternative is drifting through life on autopilot, only to discover too late that your healthiest years are already gone. Too many people make that mistake. Do not become one of them. Your retirement years, the years when you finally gain freedom from work and time for the dreams you postponed, are far too valuable to waste. The rule of 10 is simply a tool designed to help you protect those years. Use it wisely.